I fucking called it. I fucking knew it. I said this years ago. And now, like, God, don't you love being vindicated in One Piece after, like, years and years of, like, theorizing about something and it finally comes to fruition and it's correct? Like, God, it feels amazing. So, I'm just cutting right to the chase to the end of the chapter. We are finally get the Roxy Zebek face reveal, and I had said from day one, when they first introduced the character, what year was it? It's got to be like early 2020s, right? I'll look it up right now. What chapter was Rox first mentioned in? 957. One Piece chapter 957. 2019. That can't be right. I feel like I remember reading the chapter in... whatever. Doesn't matter. Derailing. Anyway, I was right. I said right away when they first showed his silhouette, I'm like, they're obscuring him because he's going to have the same face as Blackbeard, and that's going to be the reveal here. And sure enough, it was. But they went even further, and I thought, like, I didn't even notice this at first, because they did it in at least the scan I read, they did it in small font below, like, the name reveal, and the face reveal. Like, they have this huge, bombastic font, Roxy's back, like this style font, like, and, obviously the face is identical to Blackbeard's pretty much, and it says future captain, and then, like, small font below it says future captain of the Rocks Pirates, father of Emperor Blackbeard. Like you can't get more explicit than that. So, a lot of people are saying, like, this is the connection and that's it. I still, if I'm right, like, if I'm right about this, I might as well stick on this role here. If I'm still correct about this, I'm going to go further. I still stand by my theory that current Blackbeard is either just a host body for Rocks, or is, like, sharing the vessel with, like, the body vessel with Rocks. It explains so much. It explains why he can't sleep. Maybe he shifts, like, personalities at that point. It explains why he can carry multiple devil fruits. Someone in a One Piece group chat was, like, mentioning some stuff with, like, the symbolism of, like, the Ace and Blackbeard fight, like the sun versus the moon. A lot there. There's so much there. And I'm still sticking by that theory. I still think it's very much possible. And I don't know if we'll necessarily get that explicit confirmation of that side of things in this flashback, just simply because it's going to be more Loki focused in a lens of, like, what Loki sees, and I don't think we'll get that. How many years ago was this? Does it say? Don't know if it says. But yeah, I don't know if we'll get that explicit confirmation, or if that will come later during more, like, a Blackbeard flashback or something like that. And at the end, like we see, like, his crew strolling up with them. Is that woman supposed to be Stussy, or is that supposed to be Lin? I couldn't really tell. I'm guessing Stussy, but it doesn't look like how Stussy looked last time we saw her, if I remember correctly. But of course, it's got Shiki and Whitebeard. It is pretty cool to see, like, Shiki, like, active, like, outside of, like, the episode 0 stuff. I love when we see little glimpses of him, reminding him that he's, like, a character in this world. I know film... Oh my god, what am I going to name? Strong World is not canon, but it is still a cool little touch. Just reminded, like, yeah, it is a figure that existed in this world. Yeah, and they roll up on Loki. God, the Loki story just fucking crushes me. Like, I almost cried reading this chapter. It's so unbelievably sad. And it's like, you could see, and I called this back when we saw the first, like, Haryuden glimpse flashback thing, where, like, we saw Loki shit talking Haryuden and it created that resentment. But I called right then and there. It's like there's another. It's not just like this. It's not real prejudice against his brother in the bloodline and everything. It's literally the fact that it's a combination of factors. It's that Loki has only ever been shown animosity and aggression by anyone else, and he doesn't have any example other than like it seems like Harold embraced him, but Harold also was incredibly neglectful, it seems like, because he was more focused on his political duties and motivations there. So it seems like like Harold genuinely loved him but was just not around enough. But the only interaction he gets is just absolute animosity and hatred. So, like, obviously, like, he has no other frame of reference. He's just a child. He has no other frame of reference for expression, so obviously he's going to project that expression on everyone else. And also, like, part of it is obviously resentment. If like society is just beating you down, you're obviously going to lash back out. It's just so fucking sad, and I just want to give him the biggest hug, and it just crushes me reading this. There's a point in this chapter where, like, what was the line? There was a line where, like, let me try to find the exact spot it was said. It was like, oh yeah, the orders gouge his eyes out. Right? Where does this happen? Am I misremembering? Okay, I can't find it right now as I'm scrolling through, but there's a point where, like, they, like, ordered to gouge his eyes out, and then in the next panel, he's in bandages, and I'm like, what the fuck? Did they gouge his eyes out genuinely? And I was freaked the fuck out, and they didn't, but, it was, that, like, scared the shit out of me, and I thought that was why he had the bandages. God. It's just so crushing, and it's going to be interesting to see, like, what he sees in Rox. Like, is it the first person to give him attention? And it's obviously going to be misguided attention, because it seems like Rox is going to admire him for his strength, just the way he composed his entire crew, like, just based on strength. So it's going to be like, but God, fucking, I'm scrolling down just the line where Loki crashes on the ground and is just crying, saying, I can't even die. Oh my God. And it also is reminiscent of Kaido, and I wonder if there's a connection there, given the horns and everything. And what there was something weird they were mentioning earlier in the chapter, which I'll get back to. But God, the whole like, I think it's like, what is this connection with Rox gonna be is gonna be interesting, because, like, Rox is someone that, like, composed his entire crew on power and aggression, but he seemed to, like, maintain loyalty from, like, good people. Like, I mean, he does have, like, he ends up having from Amazon Lily, Gloria or something, I can't remember her exact name, and he has Whitebeard, of course, who's a good person. So it's interesting how he, like, gets these few good people in this crew that's built entirely on power and aggression, so I'm interested to see what Loki will see in him and that connection that he'll form with him, because he has a deep-seated admiration and connection. I wonder if it's going to translate to anything with Blackbeard in the present timeline, and, like, Loki, how he sees Blackbeard, because obviously Loki will recognize him. I was thinking about the logic behind that. Like, wouldn't the world government recognize Rox, at least the generation that was around, recognize Rox and Blackbeard's face to be the same? And I think the explanation that they could give is, like, how they wiped Rox from history, essentially. So I wonder if they're going to explanation they wiped all photography and any capture or, like, depiction of him, like, from history, so that the new generation obviously wouldn't even know what Rox look like, so that when they see Blackbeard, they're not going to know, like, hey, that's the same fucking face. Like, obviously there's something here. But the old generation, it's a little less believable, because, like, especially the Marines that did face Rox, like Garp and everything, like, how they would not see. Maybe they do and just don't say anything. We don't see them say anything on screen. Maybe this is something that they've acknowledged off screen. I think we'll just have to see. But it's interesting to think about. But yeah, there was something earlier in the chapter that I wanted to mention before we go that, like, it piqued my interest. So Jarul is, like, lore spouting. It says, haven't you heard the tale of the Galleria Warhammer Company? And the notes here say it might be a spin on Galila. I wonder if that means it's connected in any way. Grotruva Giant Shift writes, they existed, they traveled far and wide, but then they all were captured, including ancient giants. They were all captured and taken prisoner by... However, they sank deep into a certain ocean at a certain point in history. But Harold says, you think the world government is irresponsibly blunt? There's probably a deeper reason why our ideals haven't worked. Yeah, so yeah, it seems like the world government, is silencing any, giant stuff like that. I'm interested to see where this goes. Like what this is, because I really don't have any ideas just yet. And then there was something else. There was another story, right? There was like the Ice Giant story, right? Am I misremembering? They told that's... where did that happen? God, I'm like... I only read the chapter once, so I'm like just scrolling through trying to find it. Where was it? Am I misremembering? Oh, these are just rumors, but I also heard a story about a frozen army of giants somewhere. It seems our people are, like... Is it referring to the same giant group of giants? Or is it something else? Am I misremembering something? Is there something we saw earlier that, like, is this that I'm just not remembering right now? If I'm being really fucking stupid right now, leave me in the comments below. And then also reminds me of the cover story. The cover story was very interesting. I'm not complaining that we're getting this extended Yamato cover story. I did not think it was going to go this long, but the Holy Narja, at the grave of a hero born in the West Blue and brought up in Ringo. Are we supposed to know who this is? My first inclination was like Zoro's lineage that was kind of hinted at in the Wano arc but never really fully explored. And if this is going to do the exploration for that, that was my first inclination. But if there's something here that this is clearly supposed to be like an homage to or referencing, like, let me know in the comments below. I'm really missing it, but God, what a fucking phenomenal chapter. It was like emotionally crushing. We got like lore hints and hints of future things to come. We got the rocks reveal. This was insane, like just an absolute banger, which I was like, Oda is not missing lately. He's doing absolutely incredible. It seems like we're not getting a break next week, so I am incredibly excited to read more. But let's just say it again, I was fucking right. I called this day one when the character was first revealed. I'm like, they're silhouetting him because he's gonna have Blackbeard's face, and sure enough, I am absolutely right. We'll see if the rest of the extension of the Rocks Blackbeard connection theory pans out, but at least this part I got it fucking right. So yeah, thank you for listening. Bye bye.